Hello, my name is Leo, and well, this isn't a game. This is a little video in regards to experience I had watching something called Awa Odori or Awa Dance. It's a traditional dance of what used to be called the Awa Prefecture of Japan, now called Tokushima, which is my Japanese waifu's hometown that I'm currently staying in. So I'm just gonna basically be showing some slideshow pictures, and at the end there'll be a video that I recorded. It's not as much as I kind of wanted to because I did forget my proper recording equipment, and I had to make do with what I had, and then that wasn't much. But this will give you a taste of what it's like. It was well worth the. I think we spent about approximately $55 for the three of us to go. And it's a 2 hour show, so that's pretty good. Alright, so the first thing about Awa Odori is the music. So here you've got, you can see the band, starting with the percussion. You've got, now that instrument in the middle, I've got a mouse so I can show you. This instrument in the middle, not all the groups, basically in Awa Odori, there's a huge line, this huge street that you can see here, and the groups of dancers come down, they take turns, like a sort of parade. They're sort of dancing down the aisles. In fact, I can show you this picture right here. This is a picture later on that night where you can see the different groups. They've got different color outfits dancing down the street. Now, anyway, not all the groups have this particular instrument. I don't know what it's called, but it's really just a bit of bamboo with knocking it. So it just makes sort of woody sort of sound. You got these like little, I guess they're bongo drums, and then in the second row we've got these small sort of drums here that they're drumming away in. In the back, we've got the shamisen, which I'll talk about a little bit later, which is pretty important for the sound. We've also got this instrument, which is really just a bell. It's basically a cowbell. If nothing else, our Odori music has a whole bunch of cowbell in it. And we all know music needs more cowbell, and this has got all the cowbell you could possibly want. In the row behind these guys, we've got the big, whoops, go the wrong way now. We've got the big taiko drums. These are the big boys, which are friggin' heavy as hell, but make this like really awesome. You'll hear it in the video. When you hear, obviously you hear all the instruments in the video, but you can hear the beat. These are like basically the most important part because they keep the beat. Although the bell guy, his job, the tempo changes as the dance progresses. It starts off kind of slow, then it goes into the speedy mode, and then it goes back to slow again. And the bell's job is to basically signal the band it's time to speed up. So he starts going a bit faster. Then the taiko guys come in and they start beating their drums faster, and then the rest of the band kicks in, and that signals to the dancers we got to start moving up. So that's the band. Well, actually, that's not the rest of the band. This is actually the beginning of the band. I don't know why that first group didn't have it, but this group you've got the shamisen players. Usually there's about two or three of them. In this group there's actually a whole bunch of them wearing this is the garb of the female dancers, which I'll show you a bit later. And you've got the flute players. Flute is pretty important. You can hear the distinctive like melody that I heard a lot of this night, which does get a bit old after a while, but it's still a catchy tune. And this is the whole band with, obviously, this is what a normal group would have. You'd have the flutes in the front, the sort of middle drums, the taikos in the back, the bell guy over here, and and the shamisen player. I can't even see him. Alright, let's move on to the dancers. Right, so normally at the beginning of a group or a troupe, you'd have the kids doing I guess this is the males dance. There's two kinds of dancers. You can see the female dancers in the back. They're very distinct. The male dancers are a bit more, although the early groups usually are men and women. Like the kids are usually girls and boys together until the girls are old enough to do the women's dance. I can't really describe the dance as itself. It's sort of like they do, the hands are up in the air, kind of like what the women do, but then they also like sort of crouch down and their arms sort of flail out. They usually hold fans as well. I think I got a picture here of them holding the fans. You can see them holding the fans there, doing the dance. They all, you got the girls and the boys together. I think we've got this one where they sort of crouch down. The guys at the background have got their arms up. They jump about, which they do in the video. They're doing a bit of jumping about and yelling. This is just them. This is the men. This is actually a more professional group where they've got the males and the females separated. This is the male group, and they sort of this is sort of, I think at this point the tempo's increased and they're jumping around with a lot more force, a lot more power, which is cool. Let's move on to the women though. So the women, as you can see, they wear this sort of kimono garb, and they've got these funny looking hats. There's like half crescent straw hats that are very important in the actual dance. You'll notice that they're dancing very like symmetrical, and they usually like group up together. In the video, they actually do an interesting formation, which is like a cross formation going around in a circle, which is actually quite interesting. And you'll notice when they turn around, their hats actually have a really interesting effect. They're also wearing, it's pretty hard to see in these videos, but if you look closely, they're wearing like the old school kimono geta, and they almost exclusively, well actually no, I watched pretty hard their feet, and they're always walking on their tiptoes the entire dance. They're on their tiptoes. They sort of edge forward like 1 foot at a time, but constantly on tiptoes the entire like run that they do the dance of. It looks pretty difficult. There they are, sort of dancing. I don't know if this is in a bit more force. It sort of looks like they are, because sorry for the blurriness of the video, but you can see them on their tiptoes. Basically, the dance is this, like they're in this position, then this foot would come out, they'd sort of knee a bit, and then put the foot back down again, and the arm would alternate to out, and this one would go back, like the left one would go out, the right one would go back, and then they'd alternate back and forth. So they do sort of a slow sort of walk, if you will. That's a much better picture. It's much more better in focus. You can see the getter there. This is them in formation. They're in like a diamond or triangle formation, a wedge formation, if you will. And this is them like sort of facing the crowd. You can see another group in the background. And this is that picture that I showed you before, which is like the whole, you can see everyone in the grandstands and the different groups, and they just come down here, and this sort of procession lasted about 2 hours, which I actually went into it thinking it was going to go for 3 hours, so it actually cut short, but that's fine. Afterwards we went, like at the back there, you've got all your little stores, your little Japanese festival stores where you can eat various food, try various show games, and then out on the street, there's the main streets just below that, where they had actually more amateur groups just dancing in the street, and that was pretty cool. Alright, well let's move on to the video. Alright, so I'm not going to talk too much through this video. You can hear them singing the song of the Awa Odori, which I really should have looked up. You can see them sort of alternating their legs and their arms. You'll notice they're always on tiptoes, which is pretty impressive. And you'll notice the music's a pan over here to the men, and the music increases in tempo. And then they come rushing in. And you can see the difference between the male and the female dance. They get into formation. Unfortunately, this video is a bit short because I ran out of memory in the camera. But it gives you an idea of the dance. This is one of the more professional groups. You can hear the different instruments over there. You notice the tempo's increasing. The video unfortunately cuts off here, but I mean, that just gives you, an idea of the sort of dance. I mean, obviously, there's tons of videos you could see on YouTube if you wanted to see more. But that's it for me for now. So, my name is Leo, and I'll see you next time.